Welcome to How's Your ePresence? This is Mark Galvin. I'm your host for this show. This show is brought to you by ePresence, a full-service social media agency. And why do we do this show? We do it so that we can help you do something maybe you're not good at. Maybe there's a little marketing component that you're trying to get an answer to. And today we're going to talk about YouTube because we all need to be on YouTube. Did you know that Pew Research said that YouTube is the #1 social media channel? Wait a minute. YouTube is social media? Yeah, it is. And we're going to help you understand a little bit more about social media and YouTube and how you can leverage YouTube a little better. What we do on this show is we help create a library of content. Recently, we talked about how to use audio branding to build your brand. What does audio branding mean? Go back and check out our YouTube channel and you can find out. We also drop everything on the podcast channel, as you know. Also, how can you optimize your e-commerce store? I'll tell you what, there's a lot of people out there in the podcast world wanting to talk about e-commerce these days. So there's a lot of attention on that. So definitely go check that out. Our shows run live on Tuesdays at 10 or Thursdays at 3 or Thursdays at 3, and that's all on Eastern time. So love for you to join us, make a little note, follow us, and that's always a big deal. So there's that follow button. No, it goes on that side. Here's that follow button. Follow our channel so you know when we go live. We want you to know when we go live so you can join us and ask a question. You may be able to get the results or the answers to your questions that you're looking for on your digital marketing. We'd love for you to send us topics. Just hit us on any of our social media channels or suggest a guest, send them our way. We're always looking for great guests, and I bet you know a few people out there that might be able to join us. We have a universal social media handle. It's ePresence ME. Now our website is ePresence.me. Our universal social media handle is the same thing minus the dot, ePresence ME. All right, so what are we going to do here? Let's see. Moving ahead, we're going to talk today about YouTube. How do you why is YouTube important, first of all? Second of all, how can you monetize a YouTube channel? We're going to get into lots of YouTube questions. So if you're looking for answers on video and YouTube, you're in the right spot. If you're looking for the show in the future, look for ePresence, how to optimize YouTube. All right. So normally we have been talking about webinars in the past. We are not talking about webinars now. We push those basically once a month. Right now, I think a lot of people aren't really interested in optimizing their LinkedIn profile, which is sad. Yeah, the job opportunities are great, but why don't you get the very best job opportunity? Make sure you're optimizing your LinkedIn profile. We'll offer that session once a month. Okay, what are we going to do today? We have a great guest today. You're going to really find this interesting. Augie Johnston is our guest today. He is the founder and CEO of VidCHOPS. I think Augie is short for August. We're going to find out. I'd like to know what that's short for. I promise, Augie, I'm not going to call you by your real name, but that's kind of funny, isn't it? We'll talk about that. He is a 35-year-old ex-YouTuber, and he was a professional basketball player. Making you start to think now, aren't I? He founded this organization, VidCHOPS, which assists video creators and influencers and digital marketers. He wants to help them edit their videos. This is a brilliant idea. A lot of people can create great video, but then you've got to go back and do the post-production, i.e. the editing to make it look great. He'll do the editing for you. This is a great way to let the clients focus on their content side, and they are able then to create better, more interesting content without having to spend the back-end time. And I do know this. This is interesting. This is an interesting thing. 60 Minutes covered Prince this last weekend. If you haven't seen that, go back and check out 60 Minutes as they dove into Prince. And Prince has all this content that he's created, but he never finished it. That's because it's difficult to do the post-production stuff sometime. Augie is that guy for you. So if you are a modern day Prince and you're creating lots of video, you can go to Augie and he will help you clean up your video so you can publish it. He works with full-time YouTubers, online personality, thought leaders, and business owners. So folks, don't forget, we want you to ask questions. So if you've got a question, jump in the middle, throw it in. I will put it on the screen and we will get Augie to answer those questions. All right, well, let's do this. I think we got Augie in the house. Let's see if we can get him somewhere we can find. There he is. Augie, welcome. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me. I was actually cracking up about 3 or 4 times during that intro. I like the energy. I'm ready to do this. I'm gonna reciprocate that energy back to you.
Rock on, man. All right, I got a question for you. What is Augie short for?
Sure. It's my middle name, August. You nailed it. Yeah.
It is August. All right. I was going to say Augusta. There's a lot of ways to play with it. Where does the name August come from? It's short for something, isn't it? Augustine?
Yeah, it might be. But yeah, it is my middle name, and I've just always gone by Augie, and it's because
cool
I have the same. Yeah, thank you. I have the same name as my father and my grandpa, and my son actually has the same name too.
Oh,
we all have nicknames. Yeah.
So you are Augie Johnston the third. Sweet. Did you know that can skip generations? So for example,
No.
My grandfather is James Joseph Galvin. And so he was the first. I have a cousin who is officially the second. And then I named my son James Joseph Galvin. I could officially give him the moniker of the third. So it doesn't have to be a straight line. I didn't know that. So, hey, there we go. All right, we're done here today. I'll see you guys.
Told you we were going to deliver value.
Totally worthless information. All right, well, Augie, you played basketball. Tell me that story. What is your professional background in basketball?
Yeah, it's sorry to burst your bubble. It's nothing major, but I played at a small college, a Division II college, and then was able to go play professionally in Europe, and started a lower level and do well, move up. I did that for 7 years, and while I was out there, my first year, I was kind of a broke college student coming out of college, and I think I'm going to go play some big time basketball and sign a professional contract and end up making about $1,000 a month. So I'm back as a broke college
$1,000 a minute, right?
Exactly. So I'm back being a broke college student in Europe again, basically. And I'm looking online on ways to make money. And that kind of brings us to how this whole journey started, and YouTube and everything.
So, first of all, congratulations on playing professional basketball, period. You and I both know to get into professional basketball, either in Europe. I know I've heard of people going to Israel and playing professional basketball. You probably are very familiar with that. I bet there's a subculture of professional basketball players. That's notable. So congratulations. What was your position?
Shooting guard. Not athletic, not quick, but I could shoot, and that I was able to hold my own.
So you can sink a few threes.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, I think that's really cool. Maybe we bring you back to talk about professional basketball one day. I bet there are some great stories. There's always good stories when you're on any professional baseball circuit or professional sports circuit. I live in Atlanta, Georgia. As a sidebar, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, because my grandfather, the same one I've already brought up, this is 2 times he's shown up in one podcast. My grandfather was a journeyman in baseball, and he played minor leagues and came in Atlanta and played the Atlanta Crackers. This is really going back in the 30s, and was a catcher for them. So he came to Atlanta and stayed. An Irish Catholic from Boston. He parked the car. That was not a unique thing. That was a very unique accent in Atlanta back in the day.
I could see. Yeah.
So you started YouTube. You started getting into YouTube because you saw it as a way to make money. How did that work? Kind of give us some background of that.
Yeah, I mean, it all makes sense if I look back, because I was in Europe. I'm, there's no TV in English, so I'm watching YouTube, and this is back in 2009, 2010. So, I'm looking for ways to make money. Eventually I end up actually launching a course called How to Go Overseas, which taught people how to network and get overseas, which was my first venture online, which is, back when I was 23, 24 years old. And, it was crickets. No one showed up. No one came. So, I'm looking for more ways. Well, why is this? And I find out, looks like you need traffic, right? You need people to come to your website. So that's when I started to try to figure out how to get traffic, and ran across YouTube.
Got it. All right, that's awesome. And you land on YouTube, you start dropping content. How did you get people to watch your videos? You just don't build it and they come. You did something else probably to build that traffic, I'm guessing.
Yeah, I mean, you don't just build it and they come. Well, it actually does happen on YouTube sometimes with the algorithm, right? They can suggest, you know, the algorithm's much different nowadays. But it is a discovery platform as well as a searchable platform. So back then, my videos were ranking for search terms. This is all basketball training content, you know, how to shoot a free throw, all this kind of stuff. And I was able to rank for those keywords. So people were discovering my videos.
Sweet.
But on YouTube, you know, if you are able to craft a good enough video that keeps people watching, you know, that's what YouTube wants. They want people staying on their platform to watch more ads. So they reward you for creating content that, you know, gets people to binge watch, right? And watch all your content, you know, get served 20 ads. They watch 20 videos. And if you're able to create a video like that, which is called watch time, it gets people to watch all the way through. YouTube will reward you for that, and they'll promote your video and suggest your video to really what I would describe as your target market. So over time, you know, I was able to, you know, grow and get views through that as well. But that's really the name of the game on YouTube, is creating good content.
That is really cool. All right. So this is the first question I wanted to ask you. We're kind of already into this, is why should people create a YouTube channel? When you're meeting with a business owner, the messaging may be a little different. What do you tell them that, you know, here's the reason you should look into this?
Yeah. And it comes down to one word. And this is a marketing podcast. I'm a digital marketer myself. We all have, you know, we all have our own small businesses we're trying to build. And the word is traffic, right? If you create a YouTube channel and get views, you can tell, you know, you can have any call to action in that video that you want. You know, you can send them to your Instagram. Are you trying to grow your Instagram? You can send them to a place where they can, you know, opt in for a lead magnet and get a freebie and join your email newsletter. You could send them wherever you want. So it's traffic.
Yep, that's awesome. And a very important thing is trying to figure out how do you get that traffic. It helps your website. It helps your brand. It'll help your search results. It really is. It's probably not just one answer, right? It is all of that. But, you know, I'm going to tell you, I would struggle as a new, and I did, frankly, as a new business owner trying to come up with ideas, because I think there are lots of cool ideas, and everybody else's ideas are better than mine. At least it certainly feels like that. What do you tell that small business owner when they're trying to come up with that content? This is how they should go about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's marketing 101, and it all comes down to your avatar, right? You want to think, who is my target customer? You want to try to get inside their head. If you're going to take this seriously, I would do a deep dive into that. And what kind of content are they searching? You know, what kind of content do they want? What are they, if they go, you know, we all go to YouTube, right? At times,
right.
You know,
it is the number one, and no joke, it is the number one social media channel, according to Pew Research. 81% of American adults are on YouTube. So yeah, it's, if you're going to do anything, you ought to be there.
Yeah, it's a juggernaut. It's a monster. And I would argue, I mean, I hear, okay, it's the number one social media platform. I get that. It has the most users. I've also heard it's the number 2 search engine in the world, next to Google.
Yeah.
And you know, it's okay, it's the number 2 as far as use, but to me, it's the number 1. And because if someone finds your content on Google, that's great. They're going to click on your website. They're going to read your blog. They're going to check out whatever it is. If they find your content on YouTube, they're going to connect with you face to face. You know, you're going to be able to talk to them one-on-one in that video. And so with all that said, you're going to get to warm them up. If you're trying to sell them something, you know, that's a way to warm them up is right there. But it's to come back and answer your question as far as what topics to come up with, what should I even make? Like I said, get in the head of your avatar. What are they searching on YouTube? So let's talk basketball. Okay. You know, I sold products to players to help them get better. Eventually, you know, I launched a bunch of different products with that old company of mine called Baller Bootcamp. And, you know, I would say, okay, well, what does a 14, 15-year-old player want? How to improve your shooting. or how to
Right.
dribble with my left hand, or what to do when shooting a free throw, stuff like that. So,
Okay.
you know, you can jump onto YouTube, and there's a lot of tools you can use. I'm not going to confuse everyone with that, but just type into the search bar on YouTube, basketball shooting drills or something like that. It's going to auto-populate and suggest a whole bunch of other keywords to you.
Right.
And those are the topics you want to create. You know, basketball shooting drills for post players, basketball shooting drills for beginners, basketball shooting drills, blah. And the real trick is to use a tool. There's a lot out there, you know, TubeBuddy, vidIQ, keywords everywhere, you know, just these keyword tools where you can see the competition of each of those keywords and choose the ones that have the low competition.
All right, that's really cool. There's a few things, and this is good, and I like sharing tips like you started to there. But you said TubeBuddy was one of them. What was the next thing?
vidIQ is the one that I use.
vidIQ. Good. We'll put all these in our show notes. So if you're watching this, continue to watching. Don't feel like you got to write that down. Go down and look at our show notes, and you'll be able to pick all this stuff up. So those will give you the tips. Those websites will tell you what people are looking for. What are those keywords? Is that right?
Yeah, and the competition of them. So, you know, if you want to target these low competition, and even the search volume, you know, how many people are searching.
Awesome. Now for you, and I'm going to call you out here. If you're in basketball and you lived that whole basketball experience, you do remember, I'm sure, back when you were getting better and better at the game, what were the things that I wanted to do better, right?
Sure.
I want to do X better. But if I'm an accountant, how do I figure out, in your opinion, how would I figure out what content I should share as an accountant with the, you know, and I love this. You said, get into the head of your target audience. How do I get in the head of my target audience if I'm an accountant? What would you suggest?
Yeah, if you're an accountant, you have clients, you get on calls with people. They you know, just start to listen to what their pain points are, right? Listen to what they need help with, listen to what confuses them, and then go back to the keyword tools, you know, dive into that, do a couple searches, see what videos are getting views and what's out there, what's not out there, and go with that. But like I said, it always comes back to the viewer or the customer.
100%. I think that's brilliant. And your customers will tell you what's important to them. You just got to listen to them. And if you start paying attention because you're looking for content for YouTube, you'll be amazed. I'm always amazed at how much content, it just breathes life into itself. It's organic. Your customers will all do this. And if you're going to start a YouTube channel and you don't have that content, do what Augie just said. Call your clients and say, hey, what's important to you? When you think, when you call me, what are the typical questions that you have in mind? It'll give you a great reason to talk to some of your key clients, and also give you some instant content. That's I love that. It's a great way to get content. All right. So there's something that you have that we've talked about, I think is really interesting. And it is, how do you create clickable thumbnails on titles in YouTube? What does that mean, and how do you do that?
Yeah. So when it comes to creating a YouTube video, you need to, you know, record it, you need to edit it. And that's what we do at VidCHOPS. And then you need to upload it to YouTube, and then create the thumbnail, title, tags, description. There's all this extra stuff that you have to do. And the thumbnail is probably one of the most important parts. And it's because, if you know, you're familiar with digital marketing, there's a term called CTR, click-through rate. And that refers to ads, right? When you run a banner ad on a website, you want to know what percentage of people are seeing the ad, are actually clicking it. And it's the same with YouTube, right? You want high click-through rate. And actually, YouTube does reward people who have higher click-through rate. I mean, it makes sense, right? If YouTube's going to recommend my little video and show that thumbnail to 1,000 people and 100 people click on it, well, what if I was to improve my click-through rate? What if I was to improve that thumbnail image so much, or improve that title so much, that instead of 100 people clicking on it, 500 people click on it? Well, how many more ads? That's huge, right? 400 more views right there, just by changing an image, the graphic. And YouTube's going to reward you for that, because how many more ads now does YouTube get to serve? Well, YouTube gets to serve 400 more ads. So they're going to promote that video a lot more. So when that comes to creating your thumbnail, there's a few things that I teach. First of all, people connect with people. People don't connect with objects. They connect with people. So put a face on your thumbnail. That's why on YouTube, when you scroll around, you see a lot of thumbnails have big faces on them with expressions. And then a lot of times, you want to include text. Not always, but I like to include a little bit of text. I like to include an expression, and I like those to work together to tell a story that creates curiosity, right? What's gonna get somebody to click the thumbnail? They got to be curious, right? I wonder what that's about.
Sure.
Right. So if you can just create a thumbnail that creates a little bit of emotion and curiosity in the viewers, then you're going to get them to click.
I love that. I love that. All right, now. So right before the show began, you and I smiled and we looked at the camera. And here's the reason why. We need to create a thumbnail where both of us are looking at the camera, because we found early in our shows, you do a lot of trial by error. We found early in the shows that I would smile at the camera at a different time that our guest would smile at the camera. And I probably could have called you and say, hey, I need to get 2 images side by side with both of us smiling at the camera. Well, we just do it easier. You know, we cut through all that. We have both the guest and me smile at the camera at the same time. We get a still at that way. But it is because we need to make sure that it really tees up our guests and it looks more thoughtful. There could be, and I've seen this before, where folks have used a different overlay altogether, and it has nothing to do, well, it does have something to do with the video, but it's clearly they're using good, catchy words and driving people to that video based on that those catchy titles. But honestly, there's some of those I've clicked into. I didn't like the content, so I bugged out in about a minute and a half. All of those things work together. You have to create great quality content, and you have to have a catchy title and thumbnail. Tell me this: what do you guys do at VidCHOPS to make that content better? Because I could probably send you an hour of video and you're able to turn it into much better content and make it 30 minutes, let's say. Is that kind of the work that you do at VidCHOPS?
Yeah, we definitely specialize in YouTube editing with the algorithm in mind and all that kind of stuff.
Awesome. Yeah.
So, just a few quick tips is, and you see this a lot, is you can start your video out with a hook, meaning you can show a small snippet of the best part of that 30-minute podcast or video right at the beginning to hook them in. And or you can, if it's not like a podcast type video, maybe it's just like a tutorial type video, you want to start with a hook every time. And it's a YouTube video and it's digital marketing. It's all the same stuff, right? It's copywriting, right? It's just, you want to, when you write copy and you want to write an email out to make a sale to your email list, you want people hanging on to each line, right? You want them to read the next line,
Sure.
line. It's the same with your script in YouTube. You want to keep them watching.
That is really cool. And so something that we do at the beginning of our show is I'll go through the intro and I'll say, hey, we're going to talk about YouTube today. And we're going to talk about how do you monetize your YouTube channel. By the way, we got to get to that. And part of that is that hook. But we don't do a little video clip. We could do a little video intro of something really cool where you're sharing some of your awesome knowledge and make that into a short 15-second clip. And that could get people to stay along to say, I really want to see, how did Augie answer that? That's really a good idea.
Yeah.
Note to self. That's awesome. All right. So I just let the cat out of the bag. How do you monetize your YouTube channel?
Cool. Well, there's a ton of ways, and it's the reason that YouTube's my favorite platform is because YouTube actually pays you. And those ads that you see on YouTube, like, yeah, somebody's getting paid for that. And that's not the number one way to monetize, and you can make a lot more money from other ways than just through your ads. But they are significant. They are significant.
Right.
I was watching a channel the other day. He was doing an income report talking about all the income that he's making, and he was getting about, I want to say, over 30 million views a month. And the check that YouTube wrote him in December of 2020 was for $530,000 for the ads.
Gracious.
For the ads that showed on his video. Now he's monetized.
So wait a minute.
Yeah.
Was it a one-time check? They do it one time a year?
No. That was just for the
Okay.
month of December.
Oh, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
Morgan, we're
Insane.
changing gears. Our entire plan is changing. Anyway, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Keep going.
Yeah, it is insane. So, with my basketball channel, I didn't make that much money off ads because who was watching my videos? Kids were watching my videos. Coaches were watching my videos.
Sure.
This channel that I just mentioned that made, over 500,000 off YouTube ads in 1 month is a real estate. It's a financial advice channel. So he's getting paid more cost per 1,000 impressions, CPM, than most other people are, right? But with that said, he's also monetizing his channel in other ways. One of the ways is by selling courses or products, right? And that's what I recommend, right? Go into this with an end in mind. Go into YouTube knowing this is the product that I'm going to sell. This is the service that I'm going to sell through my channel. And then you can monetize your channel through calls to action, right? For me, at the end of all my videos, whether it's for VidCHOPS, for video editing, at the very end, or for Baller Bootcamp, my basketball stuff, I would send people to my website, right? And just a simple call to action. Hey, if you like today's video and you want to improve your shooting, your ball handling, and your finishing, click the first link in my bio or the link that's on the screen right now. Head over there. I got a free workout for you that you can download, print out, take to the gym, and follow to get better. Now, that was a lead
All
magnet.
about the audience, right? It's not what you're doing is you're driving them to the website. It helps you, but what you're really doing there is you're offering them more help. You're saying, hey, let me help you some more. Go here to get more resources. I think that's brilliant.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be help, right? Maybe you're a plumber, right? Well, hey, call this phone number right now, book an appointment, we'll come out and see you. It can work really in any industry. But yeah, I would say just wherever you want to send them, put that link everywhere. Put it in the description, put it, at the very end of your video. You can create what's called an end card, which is an actual clickable link on the screen. You can point right to it and have people click it. And send people wherever you want to send them. And like I said earlier, this traffic is valuable. It's warm traffic. It's hot traffic. They might have watched 5 videos at that point. So when they click that link, they're ready to buy.
Yeah, they've self-identified as someone that's interested in the content on your video. They're interested in what you have to say. There's obviously that is a great person to deliver to your website. Augie, there's so much more, right? And we do limit our show to 30 minutes because we don't like to, most people only really want 30 minutes when they're talking about a business podcast. So there's so much content here that you can share. Where do you want people to go? All right, here's the call to action. Where do you want people to go to see more about VidCHOPS and the work you do?
Sure. Well, just to kind of close out the whole story, right? I was a YouTuber, and if you're interested in getting into this, just know that it is challenging. I'm not going to say that it's easy. And for me, the most challenging part was editing videos, right? There's so many videos you need to edit. So that's why I did scratch my own itch. And we launched VidCHOPS.com, where we take the burden of editing off your hands. You can sign up today. We can edit up to 20 videos a month for you. And yes, head over to VidCHOPS.com if you're interested and check that out. You can also, if you want to get in touch with me, follow us at VidCHOPS. On Instagram or pretty much any social media platform. But you can go ahead and shoot me a direct message. We can talk more YouTube, or we can see if we can help you get your YouTube channel going.
That is just awesome. I love this. I love the name. Great job on the branding. VidCHOPS it'll stick, right? It's got a little meat on the bones. Little play on words there, right? But I like that. I think that's fantastic. VidCHOPS, this is a solution that is needed. A lot of people are afraid to do video because they don't want to do the hard lifting after because, they may not know how. And if I work with you, can you do animation on the screen and have logos appear and all that fun stuff?
Yeah, we include all kinds of stuff in our plan. Stock footage, motion graphics, royalty-free music, really all the bells and whistles we provide.
Sweet. I love that. Well, I'm going to tell you what, Augie, I love what you're doing at VidCHOPS. I love the content you shared with us today. I really wish you all the best. Let's stay in touch. You're someone that I could see doing more little 30-minute gigs with, because you probably are learning something brand new every single day. That's what happens when we get into this world, right? We think we know everything, and then next thing you know, Facebook does something new. He's like, oh, that's really good to know. So let's stay in touch. I'd love to have you come back and maybe give us an update on some of the things that you've learned, maybe in 6 months. Are you game for that?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. I'd love to.
That's awesome. Well, good. Hang out. We've got a couple things to talk with you just after the show, but I do really appreciate you being here. Thanks for joining us today, Augie.
Thanks for having me.
So for the rest of you folks, I'm going to tell you, this is great stuff. We are so happy when we can bring quality content to you here on How's Your ePresence. This is what it's all about, finding something that can help you do something a little better to make your business work a little smarter, a little sharper. This is a great solution. Go check out VidCHOPS.com. Check out that website. You can see what he's charging is really affordable. You cannot hire a videographer for these prices. Yeah, you got to shoot the video yourself. Maybe you need some tips on that, and I bet you can find that help, and I bet VidCHOPS can give you some tips. But once you get it in there, you send it over to them and let them do the back end editing. I think that is absolutely brilliant. All right, so what do we do here at ePresence? Why are we with you guys today? We want to provide quality content that you can use. Why? If we're providing you great content, it helps our brand. This is all about the same thing that we want you to do on your social media channels. Because if you produce great content, you become the subject matter expert. People will start to look for you for those tips. Well, that's what we're doing here on How's Your ePresence. We are interested in building great brand quality to help you understand a little bit more about your space. How's Your ePresence is sponsored. It's produced by ePresence. ePresence is a full-service social media agency. What do? We help people, we help companies get their social media active. That also means we activate individual social media. That's something that's a little unique about ePresence. We help individuals as well as companies get online and stay online. An entire executive suite needs to support the company brand on LinkedIn. Are you? Give us a call. We can help you either individually on the executive suite or get the entire company active and blend in those executives that need to be there. We have consulting, we have training. Check us out, ePresence.me. That's ePresence.me is our website. Give us a check us out there. If you're watching this show and you reference it, we'll give you a 5% discount on services. ePresence is everywhere. You can find us live on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Please subscribe wherever you are. Hit that subscribe button. I always do that wrong. It's on that side. Subscribe to the channel that you're on so you get notified when we go live and you can tune in and ask a question or two. Also, we're going to drop all these shows on all the podcast channels. I'll guarantee you whatever podcast channel you're listening to, we're there. If we're not, send me a note. We'll take care of that. We add content every week so you can stay up to date on all things business and social media and digital marketing. You can always go to our website to catch more of those podcasts. Go to ePresence.me and look for our podcast channel there. This show is produced by ePresence. Our producer, writer, and social media extraordinaire is Morgan Wood. Morgan, we appreciate all the work you do for us. Until next time, for my guest, Augie Johnston, I'm Mark Galvin, and this has been How's Your ePresence?